Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we are going to do something a little different.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're going to try and hold two completely opposing ideas in our heads at the exact same time.
Okay, a bit of cognitive dissonance to start the day. I like it.
Exactly. I mean, usually when we sit down to analyze a source or a biography, we are looking for a clear lane. You know the drill.
Oh, for sure.
We look at the tech visionary or the burned out artist or, the Zen spiritualist.
It's cognitive efficiency. Our brains love patterns. They love boxes.
Right.
If I tell you someone is a yogi, you immediately download a specific mental image.
Instantly.
You picture a person in, like, linen robes,
Yeah.
probably vegan, very calm,
Yeah.
likely a minimalist.
It's under a banyan tree, yeah.
Exactly. And almost certainly detached from the concept of material wealth. That's the big one.
And if I tell you someone is a ruthless capitalist, you picture the exact opposite.
Complete opposite. You see the suit, the stress, the spreadsheets.
The constant hunger for more.
The accumulation of assets, absolutely. But today, I get the feeling we're not dealing with clean boxes.
Not at all. Today we are looking at a source material that takes those two boxes, smashes them together at high velocity, and just sees what survives the collision.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
We are unpacking the life and philosophy of a man named Osman, also known as the blind Muslim yogi.
Wow. Okay, that title alone is doing a lot of work.
It is.
And honestly, complex doesn't even begin to cover it. We are looking at a transcript that covers a lifespan of nearly 6 decades.
And on one side of the ledger, you have this spiritual master.
Yeah, and not in a casual sense. We are talking about over 50 years of consistent, advanced yoga and meditation practice.
50 years. I mean, that's a lifetime for most people.
It is a lifetime. And he's been teaching for 46 of those years. This isn't someone who just read a few books on the plane.
Not a weekend retreat kind of guy.
No. He has studied under various schools of thought from the Far East, the Middle East, the West. He's a synthesizer of these global spiritual traditions.
But, and here's the hook that grabbed me by the throat, he is also a man who has reached the top 0.1% of private wealth earners.
You're kidding.
No, he's a former medical student, a legal apprentice, a real estate mogul, and a man who lost absolutely everything in the 2008 crash.
Oh, wow.
Became a security guard to survive, and then built it all back to the top tier while going completely blind.
Wait. Slow down. That resume? It reads like fiction. It shouldn't be possible to fit all of that into one timeline.
It feels like 3 different lives, doesn't it?
At least.
So our mission for this deep dive is to explore this intersection. How does extreme spirituality coexist with extreme hustle?
And how does he define spirituality?
Yeah.
Because clearly it's not the passive, detached version.
Exactly. We also want to debunk the myths around the law of attraction that Osman seems to despise so much.
That's a big target.
And I want to understand the specific, almost scientific approach he takes to his work as a bioenergy healer, which we will get into later.
This is going to be a fascinating ride. We are essentially analyzing a case study in human resilience, an extreme case study.
It really is. So let's start with that elephant in the room, money and spirituality.
The big one.
If you scroll through Instagram or TikTok or listen to certain corners of the self-help world, you get this very specific narrative.
Oh, I know this one. Manifest it.
Manifest it,
Yeah.
visualize the check, and the check appears in your mailbox.
It's the vending machine theology.
Yeah.
Or cosmic ordering. It's incredibly popular because it sells a very seductive idea
Which is?
that the universe is just waiting to serve you if you just ask politely enough.
Yeah.
It minimizes the role of friction and effort.
It makes it sound easy.
It makes it sound effortless. And Osman, he essentially takes a sledgehammer to that entire idea.
He does. He is incredibly blunt in the source text. He says, quite literally, God or the universe is not going to take money and put it directly in your hand.
Wow. So he just cuts right through it.
He wants to kill the idea of the magic check stone dead.
But he doesn't say spirituality is useless for business, does he? He must see some connection.
No, not at all. He says it assists you indirectly. And I want to unpack that word, indirectly.
That's the key, isn't it? Because indirectly implies a process. It implies a mechanism.
Right.
This is the core of his philosophy, from what I can see. Think about it this way. If you listen to neuroscientists like, say, Andrew Huberman, or you read the work on high performance.
Yeah, the focus on protocols and systems.
Exactly. They talk about the nervous system. They talk about the ability to regulate stress, to maintain focus under pressure. Osman is saying that spirituality doesn't do the work for you.
Okay.
It refines the tool that does the work.
The tool being you, your brain. your nervous system.
Exactly. Osman argues that yoga and meditation create a superiority in wit. That's his phrase.
Superiority in wit. I love that.
It's so good. He points out that there are plenty of highly educated people who are broke and plenty of uneducated people who are incredibly wealthy.
We all know people on both sides of that coin.
So the difference, in his view, isn't just knowledge, it's sharpness, it's clarity, it's the ability to execute.
It's kind of like the gym analogy.
Go on.
If I go to the gym and I bench press for an hour, the furniture in my house doesn't magically move itself.
Right. The universe doesn't redecorate for you.
No. I still have to lift the couch. But because I went to the gym, I'm stronger. I can lift the couch without throwing on my back. The work is still mine to do.
That is a perfect analogy.
Yeah.
Precisely. Osman views his 50 years of practice not as a way to escape reality, but as a training ground to dominate it.
Dominate it. Strong word.
He talks about the calm center.
Right.
When the market crashes or the deal falls apart, the average untrained mind goes into fight or flight.
Panic mode.
Cortisol spikes.
Yeah.
IQ literally drops. You make stupid decisions. You panic.
And the yogi, in Osman's very specific definition, stays calm.
He stays absolutely still at the center of the storm. And because he is calm, he sees the exit strategy that the panicked person completely misses.
That is the indirect assistance.
That's it. It's a biological advantage. A neurological advantage gained through spiritual practice. It's not magic, it's training.
He does make one concession, though. He admits that the silver spoon exists. He's not naive.
Right. He's a realist. He knows some people are born with trust funds. He calls that easier than winning the lotto, which is probably true statistically.
Yeah, probably is.
But he dismisses it immediately. He's not interested in the outliers who got lucky. He's focused on the majority reality.
And his description of that reality is, well, it's pretty bleak. He says most people are employed and struggling.
Worse than unemployed, he calls it. Employed and struggling. That phrase really lands, doesn't it?
It does, because it describes so many people. It describes the quiet desperation that Thoreau talked about.
Exactly. You have a job, you are grinding away,
Yeah.
but you aren't actually moving forward. You're just treading water.
And Osman's message to that group is that spirituality is the foundation that keeps you from collapsing under the weight of that struggle.
It's the fuel, not the destination.
To really understand this obsession with the grind and effort, we have to go back to his origin story.
Okay.
Because when I saw the credentials, medical school, law, real estate mogul, I just assumed he was the smart kid.
Of course.
You know, the one in the front row, hand always up, the teacher's pet.
You assume natural aptitude. We all do. We look at successful people and think, well, they just have a better brain than I do.
Yeah.
It's a way of letting ourselves off the hook.
It is. And Osman just destroys that assumption in the first 5 minutes of the transcript.
He describes himself in his early years as stupid.
And he's not being falsely modest, is he?
No, he's not doing that fake humble brag thing where a genius pretends to be normal.
Yeah.
He brings the data. He tracks his class ranking like a stock chart.
He was ranked 28th out of 30 students.
28th out of 30. That is the bottom of the barrel. That is the at-risk category. The teachers have basically written off.
Right. But this is where we see the first spark of what I'd call the Osman algorithm.
The algorithm.
Yeah. Most kids ranked 28th would just accept that identity. I'm the dumb kid. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Right, they lean into it.
But Osman didn't. He had this, what he calls, an irrational desire to go to medical school.
Which statistically for the 28th ranked kid is a pipe dream. It's not even on the table.
It's laughable. But he decided to treat intelligence as a variable, not a constant.
Ah, so this reminds me of the work on growth mindset by Carol Dweck. But it sounds like Osman was living it decades before the book was even written.
Completely. He just decided to outwork the intelligence gap. He was going to close the distance with pure effort.
And the progression he lays out is just, it's grinding. It's not
Yeah.
sexy.
No. He goes from 28th to 21st, then to 17th, then 13th. Then finally, after years, he cracks the top 10.
This wasn't a movie montage with an upbeat soundtrack.
Okay.
This was years of sitting at a desk while other kids were outside playing.
Exactly. And there is one specific anecdote from grade 9 that I think is the key to unlocking his entire psychology.
Okay, lay it on me.
The physics test.
Oh, I loved this story. It's such a classic villain moment for a teacher, isn't it?
It really is. The teacher designs a test that is notoriously impossible. Just brutal.
And for a specific purpose.
The specific goal of the test is to fail students so they get discouraged and don't sign up for physics the next year. It's academic gatekeeping at its finest.
Weeding them out.
Yep. And Osman, the kid who used to be at the bottom of the class, walks in.
And scores 100%.
The perfect score.
Which is just, I mean, you can imagine the silence in that classroom. The teacher, who had been teaching for 20 years, was so shocked he called Osman to the front of the room to shake his hand.
He had literally never seen 100% on that exam, ever.
It was an event, a statistical anomaly.
But the part that stuck with me wasn't the teacher, it was the classmate. The girl.
The girl who had known him since first grade.
Yes, she knew him as the dummy. That was his label. And she asks him a question that Osman found insulting, but I think is actually profound.
What did she ask?
She asked, "How did you become intelligent?"
Become. Wow. That one word carries so much weight.
So much. It implies alchemy. It implies a magic trick, a shortcut. She couldn't reconcile the Osman she knew with the Osman holding the 100% paper.
Because in her fixed mindset, people are either smart or they're not.
Yeah.
You don't just change categories. She thought he must have found a cheat code.
And Osman's answer was so dry, so simple. He basically said, there is no magic.
I just study very hard. That's what he told her. He just stripped away all the mystique.
He did. He explained that while she was sleeping or playing or going out with friends, he was delivering newspapers, working counter jobs, doing his yoga, and studying late into the night.
He was telling her, in essence, I am not smarter than you. I am just willing to suffer more than you for this goal.
That willingness to suffer, or let's just call it capacity for work, gets dialed up to a frightening level when he actually gets into medical school.
Because getting in is one thing. The real-world hurdle is paying for it.
Right. And we have to remember the context here. This is pre-internet. This is pre-Google.
No FAFSA forms online. No scholarship.com.
None of that. If you wanted information, you had to physically go find it. And Osman had tuition, residence fees, equipment costs, and absolutely zero family money.
So he's starting from less than zero.
He mentions working manual labor cutting grass, painting roofs, to save what he calls a small fortune.
Which probably felt like a lot of money when he was earning it.
For sure. But then he does the math and realizes that his small fortune covers 1 month of rent and postage stamps.
The postage stamps. That is the detail that makes this story so visceral.
It is. He realized he couldn't afford to eat and apply for scholarships. It was one or the other. So he chose the stamps.
That's an incredible choice. He chose the potential future over the immediate present.
He went to the library, found these big, heavy, physical directories of companies.
Like the yellow pages for corporations.
Exactly. And just started copying down addresses by hand.
And he didn't even know if these companies offered scholarships, right?
No idea. Think about that for a second. He wasn't applying to open positions. He was just seeing Company X and sending them a letter saying, "Hi, my name is Osman. I need money for medical school. Can you help?"
It's cold calling, but for your education. By mail.
He sent thousands.
Thousands. He spent his food money on stamps. He literally turned his life into a brute force sales funnel.
He figured, if I increase the volume of attempts to a ridiculous number, probability has to eventually work in my favor.
It's the law of large numbers applied to personal ambition.
And it worked. He got interviews. And because he had that wit and charm we talked about, that sharp sword honed by meditation, he was able to close the deal in the room.
He had the charisma to back up the hustle.
He secured the funding. He brute forced his way into a fully funded medical education.
It's a masterclass in resourcefulness. It reminds me of what Tony Robbins often says. It's not a lack of resources, it's a lack of resourcefulness. Osman is the poster child for that.
He really is. So he conquers the academic world. He enters medical school. He's there for 3 years. He's on the path to being a doctor, the dream he worked so hard for. And then he quits.
Wow, after all that.
Quits. He realizes the lifestyle, the day-to-day reality of being a doctor isn't for him.
That takes an incredible amount of self-awareness to walk away from a dream you spent a decade building.
It does. So he pivots. He moves into the legal field, spends 5 years as an apprentice. But then the bug bites him. The entrepreneurship bug.
The desire to build his own thing.
And this leads to what I think is the most controversial piece of advice in the entire transcript. I actually had to rewind it to make sure I heard him right.
Okay.
He says, "Do not become an entrepreneur just because you can't find a job."
Whoa. That is the exact opposite of what you hear today.
The complete opposite. Every career coach, every blog post says, can't find work, start a side hustle, be your own boss.
It's sold as the ultimate freedom, the escape hatch.
And Osman says that is a trap, a dangerous trap.
He references a book by an author named Eric Parker, Start Your Own Business and Make Lots of Money. And he quotes it saying, essentially, If you think this is a shortcut to riches, perish the thought.
Perish the thought. I love that phrasing.
It's so good, and his logic is sound, even if it's harsh.
What's the logic?
He says it is infinitely easier to find a job than to create one from scratch. When you have a job, the infrastructure exists, the clients exist, the systems exist. You just fit into a pre-existing slot.
You're a cog in a machine that's already running.
Right. But when you are self-employed, you are the machine. You are the infrastructure. You are the product, the marketing department, the sales team, the accountant, and the janitor. And you get paid last, if at all.
And he lived this nightmare. He talks about his 6-year drought.
This was painful to read. It's one thing to be poor when you're 20. It's another when you have a family.
He quits his legal apprenticeship right before his first daughter is born because he wants to provide a better life. That classic entrepreneurial motivation.
The irony is just brutal.
He goes into real estate. And for 6 years, nothing. Crickets.
He says he earned less than a secretary, less than a janitor.
Yeah. He breaks down the math. He'd sell one cheap house every 6 months, maybe. You take that small commission, you divide it by 6 months of living expenses for a family with a new baby.
It's poverty wages. You're going backwards.
And the humiliation, that's the part that gets me. He's supposed to be this businessman, the CEO in a suit, but behind the scenes he's out there delivering pizzas.
Wow.
And selling toys door to door just to put gas in his car to get to the real estate viewings that probably won't even lead to a sale.
The psychological toll of that, of being a CEO on paper but earning less than minimum wage in reality,
Yeah.
that is a heavy, heavy burden.
This is where he talks about the warrior mindset. He compares it to the Wolf of Wall Street.
Performance of success.
Exactly. The performance of success when you are internally crumbling.
Fake it till you make it, but with your family's survival on the line.
He says you can have a nagging spouse. You can have disrespectful children, friends laughing at you behind your back, financial ruin staring you in the face.
All of this chaos at home.
But when you stand in front of that client, you have to smile. You have to project confidence. You have to present the product as if you haven't got a care in the world.
Because nobody buys a house from a desperate man.
Yeah.
Desperation repels success.
That compartmentalization, that ability to lock the panic and the despair in a box and just do the job, that has to be the Yogi training again, right?
I don't think he could have survived it without the practice. I really don't. Most people would crack under that level of cognitive dissonance. They'd give up.
And he didn't. He endured it for 6 years. And eventually, the dam broke. The business clicked.
And when it clicked, it really clicked. He went from delivering pizzas to making millions.
The floodgates open.
He describes the peak of his consumption. Buying properties with cash. Driving cars that cost double or triple the price of a normal house.
He was living the high life. He had manifested the Ferrari, so to speak.
But not through visualization. Through 20 years of brutal, unrelenting labor and failure.
And then 2008 happened.
The great equalizer. The global financial crisis. It didn't care how hard you worked.
It wiped out everyone in real estate. And he loses it all.
Everything.
Everything. The properties, the cars, the cash. He says it all just evaporated. He returns to his home country with 0 assets and enough cash to survive maybe 1 month.
That is the moment in the movie where the protagonist usually breaks.
For good.
Because you've tasted the wine, you've driven the car. Going back to 0 is harder than starting at 0 because now you have the memory of what you lost.
The fall is so much further.
And this is where Osman's story becomes truly unique. He didn't wallow. He didn't file for bankruptcy and retreat. He didn't say, I'm too good for a normal job.
No. He became a security guard.
A security guard. I can't get my head around that.
Yeah.
The guy who used to own the building is now the guy opening the gate for the people who own the building.
The ego death required for that move is profound.
He worked night shifts, day shifts, standing in a booth, probably for minimum wage, watching cars drive by that he used to own.
But here's the key. He wasn't just standing there, was he? He wasn't just passively accepting his fate.
No. He viewed the security job as a venture capitalist would view a funding round.
That's a great way to put it.
The wages were his seed capital. He lived on absolutely nothing, saved every penny, and used that tiny amount of money to pay for ads for a new business idea he was testing.
So even at his lowest point, he was still building.
He stripped his ego completely. That's the renunciation of the Yogi, but applied to capitalism. He renounced his former status to get the job done.
And it worked?
It worked. It took 4 years. But he climbed back. It was step by step, guard to small business owner, small business to scaling, scaling to millions.
He proved that his first success wasn't luck. It was an algorithm, a repeatable process.
He had the blueprint. He just needed to execute it again from a much lower starting point.
But, and there is always a but in these stories of extreme effort, there was a cost, a very high cost.
You don't redline the engine for 40 years without blowing a gasket.
No, you don't. And we have to talk about the sleep, or the lack of it.
This is the part of the story that is, frankly, terrifying.
He mentions a mentor who gave him the secret to success.
Right. The mentor told him, you can't succeed working 8 hours a day. Not enough. You need 13 to 16 hours, 7 days a week.
And Osman, being Osman, heard that and said, hold my beer, I'll do 20.
20 hours a day. For decades. He claims he slept only 2.5 to 4 hours a night from the age of 10, well into his adulthood.
That is, biologically, that is a disaster. I mean, you listen to someone like Matthew Walker, the sleep expert, and he would be having a heart attack listening to this. He'd say it's impossible.
It's dangerous. And we need to be crystal clear to you listening here. This is not a biohacking tip. This is not a recommendation. This is a warning.
A huge warning. And Osman admits it. He doesn't glorify it. He says he almost died multiple times due to nervous system collapse.
He ended up in the hospital. His body just shut down. It gave up.
And this brings us to the tragedy, or maybe the ultimate challenge that he faces now. 2.5 years ago, Osman went blind.
Completely lost his sight.
Now, the doctors, they attribute it to an allergic reaction to a vaccine. That's the official medical reason.
But Osman has a different theory.
He thinks he did it to himself.
He believes it was the cumulative effect of decades of that extreme sleep deprivation. He thinks he ground his nervous system down so far for so long that the optic nerve just gave up.
It was the weakest link in the chain.
He burned the candle at both ends, and the middle finally melted.
That is such a heavy realization to carry, to think that your own ambition might have cost you your sight.
Most people would be broken by that. They'd be consumed by regret or bitterness.
But his reaction to the blindness, this is where the story gets inspiring again. It's this constant cycle with him.
He refuses to be a victim. That's the core of it. The doctors told him it's permanent. The word they used was impossible to cure.
And Osman's response was, I don't know that word.
I mean, that's a movie line.
Yeah.
But he means it. He is currently working on his own protocols, using his knowledge of bioenergy to try and recover his sight.
And financially. He qualifies for government disability, right? In most countries, that's free money, a safety net.
He refuses it.
Flat out refuses it. He says he would rather starve to death than beg.
That is intense. Why? What's the thinking there?
He believes that taking charity, even from the government, would make him lazy.
I see.
He wants to keep the hunger. If he has a safety net, he might stop climbing. He needs the pressure.
So he lives alone, he cooks for himself, cleans his own apartment, and runs a digital business entirely without sight.
It's hard to even imagine the logistics of that.
And he's using AI now.
Yes. At 57 years old, blind, he is taking online courses on artificial intelligence.
That's amazing.
He's learning how to build bespoke AI tools to help him run his business because he can't use the standard graphic user interfaces. He needs an auditory or text-based way to work.
Most people at 57, sighted or not, are complaining about having to learn a new version of Microsoft Word.
And he's thinking about how to prompt engineer his way around a massive disability. He just refuses to be left behind.
And it's working. He's back on top financially.
He is. He mentions achieving private wealth status at his bank. This isn't just, being comfortable. This is the top tier for the super rich.
Wow. So he did it a second time. From security guard to the top tier while blind.
He recently received a metal credit card.
The metal card. It's the ultimate status symbol for that capitalist box we talked about at the beginning.
It is. But for him, the meaning has totally changed. He can't see the shine on the card. He can't see the brand name. He can't see the confused look on the cashier's face when a blind man hands it over.
So what does it mean to him?
For him, he calls it an accolade. It's a trophy. It's proof that the system, which usually discards people with disabilities, had to acknowledge his competence, his creditworthiness, his value.
It's not a tool for spending. It's a certificate of achievement.
Exactly. Now, we've talked a lot about the business side, but we need to pivot to something very specific, because we've been calling him a yogi, but we haven't really dug into the depth of that practice.
Right. This isn't just a guy who does a few stretches in the morning to stay flexible.
Not even close. And this is where we need to bring in that expert focus from his bio. Osman isn't a casual practitioner. We're talking about over 50 years of deep dedicated experience. He's been teaching for 46 years.
He's a master of his craft.
And he didn't just study in one place under one guru.
No, he mentions studying under masters in the Far East, the Middle East, and the West. He's cross-pollinated these different traditions, these different ways of looking at energy and consciousness.
But, and this is the crucial part that separates him from a lot of gurus out there, he tempers all his studies with scientific evidence.
That makes perfect sense given his medical school background. He speaks the language of anatomy, of physiology, of the nervous system.
Exactly. So he's not just talking about chakras in a vague, mystical sense. He's trying to map this ancient knowledge onto modern biology.
And his specialty is, well, it's intense. He focuses on bioenergy healing.
But not for, stress relief or minor aches and pains?
No. His website and his biostate, his specialty is critical care recovery and terminal illnesses. We're talking about the cases that Western medicine has often given up on.
The end-of-the-road cases.
Yes. And he mentions using telepathic methods. Now, I know for some listeners, that immediately sets off the alarm bells. Telepathic, come on.
It sounds like science fiction.
It sounds esoteric for sure. But in the context of advanced bioenergy healing or quantum physics, you're talking about non-local energy transmission. The idea that energy fields aren't bound by physical proximity.
The concept of quantum entanglement, maybe?
Something along those lines. And while that might sound like magic, Osman claims an extremely high success rate. He's results-oriented.
And he treats it like a professional service, not a hobby.
He does. He is transparent that his services are expensive. He charges a premium. But he explains why.
And what's the reason?
He says he spends 8 to 10 hours a day just sharpening the sword.
8 to 10 hours a day? Doing what?
Just in preparation. Meditating, doing specific breath work, building his own energy reserves.
So that's before he even speaks to a client.
Yes. His belief is that if you are going to interact with the energy field of a terminally ill patient, you cannot be depleted yourself. You can't be stressed or tired. You have to be overflowing with vitality.
So when a client pays him, they aren't paying for the 1 hour of treatment.
No. They are paying for the 10 hours of preparation that made the treatment possible. They're paying for the decades of mastery.
It's the same incredible work ethic he applied to real estate and law, just shifted into the spiritual and healing realm.
It all connects back to the captain of the ship metaphor he uses.
I like that one.
He says yoga and meditation help you navigate stormy seas. If the captain panics when a huge wave comes, the wave crushes the boat, everyone dies.
But if you stay calm.
If you remain calm, you can steer the ship through the wave. You can navigate the storm. Whether he was steering a real estate deal in 2007 or steering a patient through recovery in 2024, the internal skill is the same.
Absolute, unwavering calm at the center of chaos.
His motto sums it all up. Achieve the goal or die trying.
It's a binary worldview. There's no middle ground. No, well, I gave it a good shot.
Success or death. There is no middle ground for Osman. Even now, at 57 and blind, he's taking courses on AI. He refuses to be left behind.
He refuses to become obsolete.
So as we wrap this up, I'm left feeling a mix of just exhaustion and inspiration.
I know what you mean. His life sounds incredible, but also incredibly hard. I wouldn't want to live it.
No. And I don't think the takeaway here is that everyone listening should sleep 3 hours a night and work until they go blind. That's the cautionary tale.
Right. Don't do that.
But the inspirational part.
It's the agency, the sense of personal responsibility.
Agency. That is the perfect word. I keep coming back to it. Whether he was the stupid student, the broke dropout, the bankrupt millionaire, or the blind man living alone, he never outsourced his agency.
He never blamed the system or his teachers or the economy.
He never said, the world did this to me. He always said, okay, this is the new reality. What do I do next?
There was one final stat he shared that really drove this home for me. He's been trying to build a YouTube channel.
Yes, for his healing work. He spent 5 months posting 10 videos a day.
Just stop and think about the logistics of that for a blind man. Recording the audio, getting it edited, writing a description, uploading it. 10 times a day.
The sheer volume of that is staggering.
And after 5 months of that massive, relentless effort, how many subscribers did he get?
It was 28.
28 subscribers. I mean, most people would look at that and say, I failed. The algorithm hates me. This was a waste of time. I quit.
It would be crushing for almost anyone.
But Osman calls it a success.
Why? How could that possibly be a success?
Because he didn't give up. He's proud that he executed the plan, that he showed up every day. He's now pivoting, learning AI to improve the content, trying a new angle.
So he views the resilience itself as the victory, not the subscriber count.
Exactly. The numbers are just feedback, not a judgment on his worth or his effort.
Wow.
And that, I think, is the ultimate provocative thought for you listening today. If a blind man can live alone, refuse charity, learn AI at 57, and claw his way back to the top 1% of earners twice, and still consider 28 subscribers a win because he kept grinding, what's your excuse?
It certainly puts my "I'm too tired to go to the gym" excuse into perspective.
Yeah, it really does. It puts almost everything into perspective. If you want to dive deeper into his world, his current work, you can check out his bioenergy services at Yoga Wellness 786.
A truly fascinating figure, the mystic and the merchant, living in one body.
And a powerful reminder, spirituality isn't a shortcut, it's the fuel for the grind. Thanks for listening to The Deep Dive. We'll catch you in the next one.
Keep thinking.